The Creepy Corner presents Knock by K.L. Mill. Living in the creepy old house at the end of the street definitely had its advantages. Stan unwrapped a fun-sized Snickers and took a bite, savoring the chocolate as he settled deeper into his armchair. Less than a handful of kids had braved the winding driveway through the woods to his front door that night, so he still had a full bowl of candy left over. That should last his mild sweet tooth quite a while. He had just put a kettle on the stove for tea when he heard a soft knock at the door. Stan glanced at the clock on the wall. 10:30. Way past the city-established trick-or-treat hours, and he had turned off his porch light at 9, the universal signal that candy distribution was complete for the evening. He sighed, feeling a flicker of annoyance. Probably high schoolers, but better to toss some Kit Kats in their bags than risk finding eggs in his mailbox, like last year. Stan grabbed the candy bowl, flipped on the porch light, and opened the door, expecting to see gangly teenagers with half-assed costumes. 4 small figures stood in a semicircle around the welcome mat, each holding out a pillowcase. Their costumes were oddly old-fashioned. One kid was just wearing a sheet with raggedy-cut eye holes. Another wore a Wonder Woman vinyl smock straight out of the 1970s, complete with cheap plastic mask affixed to her head by thin elastic band. There was also a mini bride with a translucent veil hanging from her tiara, and what Stan guessed to be the Mad Hatter, wearing a large purple tuxedo coat and top hat with oversized brim pulled low. An awkward silence lingered. The children didn't move, didn't speak, just held out their pillowcases. A chill that had nothing to do with the October air prickled the back of Stan's neck. He chuckled uncomfortably. "Aren't you kids forgetting something?" In unison, 4 soft voices said, "Trick or treat!" Stan dropped a handful of candy into each pillowcase, then glanced into the darkness beyond the porch light, searching for signs of parents or older siblings. The driveway was empty, the woods still and silent. "A little late for you kids to be out, isn't it? Where are your parents?" Wonder Woman took a step forward and looked up. Stan couldn't make out any features through the plastic eye holes, beyond a reflective ebony blackness. A small, sweet voice lilted, "May we come inside to call our parents?" Stan's spidey senses tingled. First off, what kind of parents let their young children trick-or-treat alone late at night? And were these even kids? Stan watched a lot of true crime, and though he didn't know how 4-foot-tall children could be part of a home invasion ring, he wanted to slam the door shut on these weirdo kids. He decided to compromise. "I'll give them a call. Wait here. Let me get my phone." The screen door shut behind him with a reassuring click as the tea kettle began to whistle. Stan grabbed his phone from the arm of the couch and turned. The children were now inside, surrounding him. His heart lurched. He hadn't heard the door or footsteps on the hardwood. Wonder Woman removed her mask. Dark hair fell in strings around her pale face, accentuating her jet black eyes. Not dark brown, but bottomless pits of nothingness. A faint smile played at her lips. "You have a lovely home." The Hatter grabbed Stan's wrist, and the phone clattered to the floor. The child's fingers formed a vice grip. A searing pain lanced up his forearm, his veins darkening with inky blackness. The kettle's shriek became distant, muffled. Stan's vision blurred and faded. Then everything went dark. Stan blinked, trying to orient himself. His head felt fuzzy, his thoughts disjointed. He was outside, standing on a porch he didn't recognize, before a door that seemed enormous. Confused, he looked down. He was wearing a bright yellow, oversized jumpsuit with red pom-poms running down the front. His hands, pale and small, and not at all the weathered hands of a 65-year-old man, clutched a pillowcase. Wonder Woman giggled beside him, her mask pushed up on her head, revealing those cavernous black eyes. She put a finger to her lips, whispering, "Shh," as the porch light came on.
Knock was written by K.L. Mill and narrated by Kristin Lennox. The Creepy Corner is part of the Corner Theater podcast network from Straight to the Point Productions. It is creative directed by Annie McGrath and executive produced by Annie McGrath and Marisa Cooksey. Episodes are mixed and edited by Matt Keim. The Creepy Corner will return with all new chilling tales this December. Until then, stay creepy.